Aloha, welcome back to Aina Bear Farm. Beautiful day out here. You can see the cargo ships going by, heading towards the Hilo port. And we're standing here at the edge of our current zone 3 of our food forest. And so you can see quite a difference here. This has been planted out for a few years in some of the cases of some of these trees. And we haven't really touched much beyond here. We have a few paths and a few support trees out there. I think all just ice cream bean. There's like one sitting right here right on the edge. And what we're gonna be working on, you may have heard me mention in previous videos, that we want to expand this zone 3 further out. And we've been limited so far by lack of water infrastructure. And basically I built all this out without irrigation on the idea that we're on the wet side of the island. We have plenty of annual rainfall. However, this is our 5th year here, and every year we've had major drought periods pretty much routinely throughout the year. We're talking anywhere from 2 to as much as 6 months without real measurable rainfall. And I've had to water all of these trees by hand with a hose, which has just been exhausting and just really prohibitive of expansion. And so what we'd like to do is, expand our growing space and kind of start implementing at least some things in zones 4 and 5, even though those are wilder spaces. We'd like to put in some more native trees and some more select species that are favorable to reforestation and regeneration. Right now, in the kind of foreground back here, you can see silk oak trees, so that's what this is. They're dotted throughout. We'll be taking almost all of those out, including this one that's pretty close here. They are just not so great in terms of contributing to habitat ecosystem. They're fine. They're not terrible, but we can do a lot better. Things like ohia, koa, which are native, and then add some additional canoe species like kukui and things. So this is kind of a before shot because we're getting ready to mow a lot of this down. So I kind of wanted to give you a little before shot. And then here you can see a spigot, and this is as far as our irrigation pipe goes. So we've got this 1-inch poly pipe. We often call it Driscoll pipe here. And right now this is the end of it, but I will extend it another 100 feet or so with another final spigot out, more zones 4 and 5. And so this will, instead of an elbow, will just become a T, and then we'll move the elbow down. And this is buried, not much, just enough to keep me from mowing it. And so you can actually kind of see like a little bit of a depression there from where the original ditch was. So anyways, this is like our center line that we're going to go off of today. So essentially, as I look downhill, we're going to get the trusty BCS mower. We're going to cut a line more or less straight down, and then we're going to try to cut all this grass down over here, which will give us an opportunity to start laying out some of our fruit tree circles, the spaces where fruit trees will eventually go, which we have been lining with logs from a bunch of podocarpus trees that we cut down. So you can see that like represented here around this mango. You can see the old wood here, and a lot of this stuff is starting to rot really nicely and add some carbon to our soil around our fruit trees. And then we will be putting in some support species. I think all we have is ice cream bean right now, but I may get some Gliricidia in there as well. And then we'll start looking at maybe some Tithonia for some wind block. But also that the reason I'm going to be able to do this, which I've mentioned in previous videos, is that I will be installing irrigation throughout this entire zone 3. And that will be in the form of probably 3/4 or 1 inch main lines coming off of that spigot. They'll run across, and essentially every time they come up to one of the fruit tree circles, I will just run probably 4 drip emitter lines off of that main line to the sort of 4 corners of the fruit tree, and then go down to the next one. Even though I've tried to build this food forest in a sort of organic way, like gotten away from a lot of lines and things like that, these trees are spaced fairly regularly, 20 feet apart, and so there is kind of a line between this mango and the next one down, which is Cepadillo, and then down there's a Puakinnikini flowering tree. But and then, at least for now, I'm not going to worry about irrigating these support species like the ice cream beans and stuff. They're pretty hardy, and that's kind of their job, is to be here to help everybody else out. So that's the idea. I'm going to get to mowing, and we'll show you finished product, and just talk a little bit more about layout. So sit tight, we'll be right back. Okay, so we're going to give you a little bonus footage of the magic of the BCS at work here. Just do a little time lapse of me cutting some of the skinny grass. This thing is it's really fun. This is a fun part of the job, so enjoy. Alright, there we are. Whole section cleared, and it took probably about 2.5 hours to clear all that at the BCS. And I know the time lapse makes it look easy. It is not easy when the grass gets that tall. It's possible, so that's the great thing about the BCS. This would not be possible with a lot of other kinds of equipment, but it's not easy. Just pushing through that heavy grass and then kind of moving it out of the way as you go, and the wheels get stuck, and then yada yada yada. But we got it done. It's exhausting. The great thing is, once it's cut down like this, and as long as you keep it managed, it's a lot easier to cut. And the other great thing is that when the grass does get that tall, you just have tons of mulch material here, and then underneath it, it's just nice and broken down. There's a lot of moisture under there. It's just piles and piles of mulch ready to go for our fruit trees. We've also started to dig some holes for our support trees. So like Gliricidia there, ice cream bean there, Gliricidia, and they just kind of jump all down through this section, Gliricidia and ice cream bean. I'll be putting those in later today because we're expecting rain tomorrow. So hopefully it'll be good timing on that. And that's pretty much a wrap for this video. Just wanted to get you guys that kind of before and after, and bring you along for that part of the journey. We're expanding Zone 3, getting our support species put in, and getting ready to lay down the infrastructure for some more irrigation later on to make this all a lot more manageable. So until next time, we'll see you, and take care from Bear Farm. Aloha.